Roger Federer's story is one of timeless elegance, not only because of the trophies, the victories, or the dominance that came to define much of his career, but because of the way he did it all, with a grace that transcended sport. To talk about Federer is to talk about the beauty of tennis itself. He was not just a champion. He was the personification of artistry, of fluid motion, of precision and genius that looked effortless even though it was forged by countless hours of unseen work. His journey from a young boy in Switzerland with an untamable passion for the sport to becoming one of the greatest players in the history of tennis is not only inspiring but deeply human, reminding us that greatness is built on love for what you do, and a willingness to keep chasing perfection even when you're already at the very top. Born in Basel, Switzerland in 1981, Federer grew up in an environment where sports were a natural part of life. His father, Robert, and his mother, Lynette, nurtured his athletic interests, and while he dabbled in soccer as a child, tennis quickly took over his heart. What set him apart even in those early days wasn't just his skill, but his intensity. Those close to him remember the young Federer as fiery, prone to outbursts when things didn't go his way, often throwing rackets and venting frustrations. This side of him is often forgotten when we look at the calm, collected Federer who came to symbolize poise, but it was part of his evolution. He had to learn control, discipline, and balance to match his extraordinary natural ability. That journey from a talented yet tempestuous boy to the most graceful champion the game has ever seen is one of the most fascinating aspects of his life. Federer's teenage years brought him into the professional world where raw talent met the reality of elite competition. At 17, he made his breakthrough by defeating Pete Sampras at Wimbledon in 2001, a changing of the guard moment that stunned the world. Sampras was the king of Wimbledon, a 7-time champion, and Federer, with his long hair and fluid game, showed flashes of brilliance that made the tennis world take notice. That match didn't immediately catapult him to dominance, but it lit the spark of what was to come. He was no longer just a promising youngster. He was a player who carried the aura of inevitability about him. The early 2000s saw Federer transform from a potential star into an unstoppable force. By 2003, when he won his first Wimbledon title, the foundation of his legend had been laid. He didn't just win, he captivated audiences with the way he played. His forehand, often described as a whip, had both speed and precision. His serve, deceptively smooth, was one of the most reliable weapons in tennis. His movement, the way he glided across the court, made it seem as though he was floating rather than running. For many, Federer wasn't simply playing tennis, he was creating art. Watching him was like witnessing the game in its purest form, executed with elegance and brilliance that seemed otherworldly. As the trophies piled up, Federer began building one of the most dominant eras the sport has ever seen. From 2004 to 2007, he won 11 of the 16 Grand Slams contested, a feat that cemented his status as not just the best of his generation, but perhaps the best ever. He held the world #1 ranking for 237 consecutive weeks, an astounding stretch that showcased his consistency and his ability to handle the pressure of being the hunted. Yet even in this period of dominance, Federer's charm lay not only in his victories but in his demeanor. He carried himself with humility, always respectful of his opponents, never appearing arrogant despite his supremacy. This balance between competitive fire and grace made him beloved not only by fans but also by his peers. Of course, no story of Federer would be complete without his rivals. Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Andy Murray defined an era that many consider the golden age of men's tennis. Nadal, with his relentless power and indomitable will, became Federer's greatest challenger, particularly on clay. Their matches were more than competitions, they were epics, battles of style and philosophy. Nadal's raw intensity clashed with Federer's elegance, creating some of the greatest matches in tennis history, including the unforgettable 2008 Wimbledon final that many call the greatest match ever played. Djokovic, meanwhile, brought a new kind of resilience, with his physicality and mental toughness pushing Federer to adapt even in his 30s. What made Federer's career so remarkable was not just his ability to dominate, but his ability to sustain excellence across generations, facing and often defeating players a decade younger than him. Federer's rivalries elevated him, but they also showcased his humanity. There were moments of heartbreak, such as his loss to Djokovic in the 2019 Wimbledon final, where he held match points only to see them slip away. Yet even in defeat, Federer carried himself with dignity, earning admiration for how he handled crushing moments with perspective. He reminded us that greatness isn't defined only by victories but by how one responds to setbacks. Federer taught us that resilience and grace in defeat are as important as triumphs in defining a legacy. Off the court, Federer's impact has been just as profound. Through the Roger Federer Foundation, he has supported education projects for children across Africa and Switzerland, embodying a sense of responsibility that matched his stature. He has always emphasized humility, often downplaying his achievements and crediting his team, his family, and his fans for his success. His interviews were often laced with humor and warmth, revealing a personality that was approachable despite his superstar status. Federer wasn't just admired, he was loved. What makes Federer's story truly remarkable is the longevity of his career. Into his late 30s, an age when most tennis players have long since faded, Federer remained at the top. He won his 20th Grand Slam at the 2018 Australian Open, defying age and expectation. His ability to adapt his game, to preserve his body, and to maintain his competitive spirit even after years of wear and tear, stands as a testament to his professionalism and love for the sport. It wasn't just about chasing records, it was about his enduring passion for tennis, the simple joy of stepping onto a court and competing. As Federer's career drew to a close, the emotion from fans and fellow players alike revealed the depth of his influence. His retirement in 2022 marked the end of an era, not just because of the numbers, 20 Grand Slam titles, 103 ATP titles, 310 weeks at number 1, but because of the way he made people feel. He brought elegance, he brought joy, and he brought a sense of wonder that is rare in any sport. Federer reminded us of the beauty of excellence performed with humility, of competition infused with respect, and of the possibility of being both a fierce competitor and a gracious human being. His legacy is not confined to the record books. It lives in the countless young players he inspired to pick up a racket, in the fans who fell in love with tennis because of the way he played, and in the culture of sportsmanship he embodied. Federer was more than a champion. He was an ambassador of tennis, a global icon whose influence stretched far beyond the boundaries of the sport. As the years go by, his highlights will continue to be replayed, his matches remembered, and his name spoken with reverence. Yet perhaps the greatest compliment one can give Federer is this: he made people feel something profound every time he played. He reminded us that sport is not only about competition but about beauty, about emotion, and about connection. Watching Federer was not just watching tennis, it was experiencing something close to poetry in motion. And now, even in retirement, his presence lingers. Federer continues to inspire, to give back, and to carry himself with the same elegance that defined his career. He may no longer compete on the court, but his legacy lives on in the game he elevated, in the players who continue to chase the standard he set, and in the millions of fans who will forever cherish the memories he gave them. Roger Federer will always be remembered not only as one of the greatest athletes of all time but as the very embodiment of grace, class, and timeless excellence. Thank you for watching and joining us in celebrating the remarkable journey of Roger Federer, a true legend who redefined what it means to be great both on and off the court. If his story inspired you, let others feel that same inspiration too. Like this video, share it with someone who loves the game, and leave a comment with your favorite Federer memory. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another tribute to the icons who shaped the world of sports.